guys, it's Melanie. Today I have my review and thoughts of the brand new Too Faced Just Peachy Matte's Velvet Matte Eyeshadow Palette. So I have actually had this since last week and wanted to review it last week for you guys. However, I got the flu and that really sucked. But here I am, the start of a new week. I've pulled myself together and ready to give you my thoughts on this bad boy. It has actually given me a few more uses with the actual palette, so I feel like I have an even better understanding versus just doing like a first impression after using it once or twice. I have now used this probably about five times, and I like it. So let's just start out by saying that I do like this palette. I think it's a very nice palette. This is a Sephora exclusive, I believe, and it does retail for $45. So I purchased mine from Sephora online. I will link it down below for you. Right now, I'm looking at the reviews. It is more than 4.5 stars. So I think most people are really enjoying this palette, myself included. I know that there have been a lot of complaints about this collection being too childish or just not having the right look to appeal to an older audience. I can get where people are sort of over the Too Faced, like, you know, younger approach in terms of packaging. However, I think this is very sweet to me. I don't consider this very childish packaging. It's actually very weighty. I like this the most out of any of the Too Faced packaging that I've seen in the past. And so for me, I think it's a very sweet looking collection. Does it maybe gear towards a younger audience? Possibly, but I definitely encourage you to check out this palette if you are at all drawn to the types of colors that are in here. Like I said, it's very weighty. The front has this sort of like plasticized almost type of cover, and the little peaches here separate for you to be able to open the palette, and then there's a nice big mirror, which I will cover up for you guys. You obviously don't get any brushes in here. You do get a look card, which I still have in the box here. And here is a look at the palette. You've seen it all over the place. I will do some swatches on my skin tone, which I consider to be more of a yellow undertone, very fair type of coloring. So you'll be able to see what those look like. However, I want to warn you, these do not swatch as well with your fingers as they do actually apply with a brush on your eyes. Normally it's the other way around, but I have definitely found with this particular palette, I didn't like it when I swatched it with my fingers as much as I like it when I'm actually putting it on with my Zoeva blender brush. It actually applies really nicely. That being said, it does take a little bit more work than the Too Faced Natural Matte Palette. These formulas are not the same. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's take a look one more time, and then I'm just gonna swatch these really quickly for you. I'm going to go down in rows of 3 here, so I'll start with the lightest to the darkest. I'll show them to you on my fingers, and then I will swatch them. What's the best way to do this? Here we go. So there are the first 3. And I'm doing these in order of how they're placed in the palette, if that makes sense. There's the next 3. Pardon my arm hair. I don't shave my arms. Sorry. The shade Peach Punch, this guy right here, is very chalky. But it doesn't apply chalky to the eyes, if that makes sense. The next 3. And then the last 3. These last 3 really don't swatch very well at all, but they look so pretty on. So there is a look at the warmer tones on my fair yellow toned skin. So let's talk a little bit about the formula. I was hoping that this would very much be the same formulation as the Too Faced Natural Matte Eyeshadow Palette, which I love. It's not, unfortunately. It's not far off from it, but it is definitely not the same. Some of these shades feel downright gritty. Peach Punch right here is very gritty. This, which one was it? The Peach Tart almost feels a little bit gritty. The rest of them are definitely smoother. Peaches and Cream is kind of hard to pick up. It seems like it's pressed maybe much harder than some of the other shades. But again, when I apply it with a brush, it does just fine. So today for this eye look right here, all I did was take a little bit of Fresh Picked and a little bit of Peach Cobbler, and I put that in my crease. And then on my lid, I put Peach Butter, and then I used Chocolate Dipped to line my lash line. So that is how I got this look here. They do blend really well with brushes. I have to say, I'm very impressed. You can, well, you do have to blend just a little bit more after you first apply them. I would definitely recommend, if you use an eye primer, I happen to like the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, definitely put down a base first. So either Peach Meringue or Peach Butter. Put that all over so that you have a base, so that the shadows don't just stick to that primer immediately. Because I find that these shades, for some reason, want to stick where you first put them. Sorry, I feel like I have a hair. They do eventually blend out. It does just take a little bit more work than the Too Faced Natural Matte Palette. However, I feel like the looks that I've gotten have been super pretty. I really have enjoyed this eyeshadow palette. As far as the fragrance, I don't really mind it, but I think if they would have left it out, it would have been probably even better, because so many people have an aversion to fragrance in their cosmetics. It does have a artificial peach figgy type of scent. So they describe the scent, I think, as infused with peach and sweet fig cream. It has that kind of white peach candy scent, if that makes sense. White peaches, I think, are much sweeter than just regular peaches, and they have a very distinct flavor to them. And not that I've tasted these shadows, but they smell like white peaches taste to me, if that makes sense. The look card that you get is, I mean, it's helpful for those of you that need some inspiration. There's definitely some pretty looks that they share in here. I'm thinking about actually doing this Peach Mignon. Is that what it's called? Yeah, this one right here. I think this one's actually very pretty. I'm thinking about doing that maybe next week sometime. So the look cards, they're nice, but not necessary. Obviously, you can mix and match these to your heart's content. I don't know, you guys, I really like it. I think it's worth seeking out if you like these shades. I do like that they put a couple of purpley shades in here, and some of these browns lean just a little bit cooler. So Peach Tart is a nice neutral brown, and then this one is the Chocolate Dip is a nice, again, neutral, leans a little bit more cooler brown. So I feel like there's a good enough mix in here for me to really be able to enjoy this, even though I typically prefer cooler shades. The formula is very nice. I think I'm gonna have a good time using it. Honestly, the only shade that I don't see myself using, ironically enough, is this Peach Punch. It does make me look a little bit sickly because of my hair color and my skin tone. I have to be kind of careful with the colors that I use. I used to be able to use either warm or cool back when I was blonde, but I have to be a little bit more careful these days. I can look kind of sickly with certain warm shades. As far as this comparing to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I have compared them side by side. I do think there are some similarities, but there are enough differences to where I was able to justify purchasing this in addition to having the Modern Renaissance. I think I like the formula of the Modern Renaissance better than this formula. Still, the Modern Renaissance formula to me is amazing. It blends super easily. I love that eyeshadow palette. And I will always have that in my collection. This is a nice addition to have. I feel like this is a good one to travel with because it has really nice lid shades. Everything's matte, so you know that you can, have a really polished, finished look, or you can jazz it up for nighttime because there's some nice darker shades in here. It's just really easy to get either an evening going out look or an easy daytime look with this. I think it's a fun one to have in your collection if you're looking for something like this. Do I think it's like you must go out and get it type of thing? Probably not. If you already have Modern Renaissance and you really like that, you're probably going to get very similar looks out of that one as you would compared to this one. So I don't know. I don't want to say run out and get it, but I also don't want to say, yeah, don't bother with it, because I think it's just, it's a matter of preference on this guy. You're either going to like it just based on looking at it and watching reviews, or you're not. So for me, I do like it. I'm glad that I have it. It was worth purging some of my other eyeshadow palettes from my collection to make way for this guy. As you guys know, I did an eyeshadow declutter a couple weeks ago. If you missed that video, I'll link it down below. I did get rid of either 4 or 5. So this is replacing one of those 4 or 5. I don't want to replace a bunch more of the ones that I've gotten rid of, but I did want to make a little bit of room for potential holiday stuff coming through. I consider this kind of as part of like my holiday shopping since we're in September and 'tis the season already, but yeah, this one was worth it to me, if that makes sense. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below in the comments. Here's a look at the shades on me one more time. I really like this. I will try to do a look with it over the next week or so. Things are a little bit more crazy now that Stella is in school in the mornings, so I don't know if I'm gonna have time for that, but I'll try. So if you're interested in that, I will do my best. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.